gosh, okay. Hey guys, it's been a minute since I've sat in front of a camera, so bear with me as I get used to talking to a camera and seeing myself and stuff like that. So just bear with me. But in today's video, I'm going to go over my day at Universal Studios, kind of like the overview of it, my itinerary, and what I would want to do better next time or what I want to do differently. So if you don't know, I was in Florida for about a month and a half helping my sister. She broke her foot and she has 4 kids. So I went down and helped her with like housework and cleaning and taking care of the kids and stuff. So it was a lot of fun. And on my way back home, I decided to swing over to Orlando and visit Universal Studios, specifically for Harry Potter World, because I had been wanting to see Harry Potter World since it was built. And I've been wanting to go, and it was the perfect opportunity because my husband doesn't like roller coasters or theme parks, and going down to Florida and the expense of like the travel and the hotel and stuff, it would just be a little bit out of the way for me to do it if I left from my house to go to Florida. So just coming back up, it was easy just to do pit stop, visit it, and then leave the next day. So so that's why I went to Universal. I did the park hopping pass for Islands of Adventure and Universal Studios, so I could see both parks and ride the Hogwarts Express all in one day. I did not get the Express pass because it was like double the price of the ticket almost. So I did not want to spend that much money for one day. Actually, the day I went was May 4th. May the Force be with you, which I should have gone to Disney World because, May the 4th. But anyways. That's a sidetracking story. So overall, the park was not what I expected, honestly. Like, I had been there before when I was little. Granted, Harry Potter World was not built then. I had built up Harry Potter World in my head so much, and I had watched so many videos on, the Harry Potter shops, the rides, the experience, the food, and had read so many articles on that. And I think that built the theme park so much in my head and what the experience was like that when I got there, it wasn't as like as amazing as I thought it would be. So I would recommend watching these videos just to get an idea of what the park is like and what is inside, like what's inside the stores, what's inside the rides, so you know what to look for, what hidden gems to find. Which is another point I need to talk about too, hidden gems. So the videos I watched to prep myself were like the Potterhead, All Ears, and Retflix. I'll list them down below, but they're excellent, and especially the Potterhead. He videos each store and videos the rides experience and stuff, so you can get a lot more detail there. The other two are good for just all around Universal, all around Disney World theme park experiences and like tips and tricks on that. So I would recommend watching those. But I had built up and so much of like how amazing, awesome experience it would be going there. And when I got there, don't get me wrong, it was nice. It was cool going in there and walking into Diagon Alley and seeing the dragon breathe fire and having my wand out and doing some of the magic, but it wasn't as cool as I would expect, especially seeing Hogwarts Castle. Though I'm not sure if it's because I was dehydrated, which I don't think that was the case, but it wasn't as like da 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 Hogwarts Castle and you walk up to it and you're like, oh my gosh. Yeah, okay, that's kind of weird. But I guess I realized throughout this that I'm not such a big Harry Potter fan, which I kind of knew. I like Harry Potter, I like the different houses in like the books and stuff, but I'm not as big as a fan as I thought I was. Anyways, I'm getting off track. So going back to the hidden gems within the Harry Potter world, I felt that were really lacking. It wasn't that great. Like, they didn't put in as much detail, like attention to detail, as I thought they would. Like when you go to Disney World, you can look around and you see like little hidden Mickey's, little, intricate carvings, like details everywhere you look. There's something to see and it's cool and it's like they're really good at attention to detail at Disney World, but at Universal they weren't. It felt like they just kind of did a rough draft of what details they wanted and left it there. Like at Gringotts, I would expect that to be more lavish, more rich, and more carvings and more, ornate details throughout the whole experience, because it's Gringotts. That's where all the money's at. That's where the goblins are. But like the desk that the goblins are at were just basic. Like they weren't as carved or as ornate as I would imagine. When you're going through the queue lines, like the most grand thing was the chandelier, and that was it. And like when you're going through the tunnels underground or within Gringotts or whatnot, you see plaques or walls. Sorry, not walls. You see portraits of different goblins, but they don't have like plaques with like the name or the year or the position of that goblin. So they don't go into that extra detail, that extra mile that would make it seem more real and not just fake. And I don't know, it's just things like that within Gringotts especially, and like other parts of like the Hogwarts Castle too. They only would throw a ton of detail into like one room, and everything else was just kind of blah. They could have done better, so that was really disappointing. Other like highlights, I mean, going around pretending to be a wizard, wearing my Slytherin mask, it was like, oh, I can show my house pride that way. And gosh, I don't really have much like good to say of it. I mean, it was cool. It was worth going. I would go again, but next time I would go with a group of friends and not by myself, just to hang out and watch them, and maybe we can dress up as, witches and wizards, like wear the robes, but in the winter because it's too hot otherwise. But it's definitely an experience to go. Alright, so for what I actually did like throughout the day, I'll list in the description down below a like more detailed description of like the timestamps of like the different rides and shows and where I ate and stuff, if you're more interested in like having a more detailed itinerary. But basically I arrived at Diagon Alley, walked through, saw that the Ollivanders was closed because they open at 10 and we got in at 9. Went into Gringotts, walked back out, was going to check out the line for Ollivanders to do the wand show, but it had wrapped around like the buildings and it was all the way back towards like, I think the Hog's Head back there. And basically they closed it off because there was too many people. So I didn't do the wand show, unfortunately, which is okay because I'd rather not be the only person in there just because I'm so introverted. It would have been really embarrassing. But it would have been cool. I would have done it, but it would have been embarrassing. So I was okay missing that out. So I did that. I went into Ollivanders though to buy my wand and did the magic around Diagon Alley and Nocturne Alley. So I did all that, and some of them I actually could do, some of them I can't, as I thought I would be better at magic than I was. So that was kind of disappointing. But I'm blaming it on the sensors, not my ability to wave the wand correctly. So after that, the Tales of Beedle the Bard was playing. Got butterbeer and watched that. And then afterwards, kind of walked out. Oh, I also went into the different shops too at the same time while I was doing magic. I walked out, saw the night bus, went over and went to Men in Black because that's very nostalgic for me. That's like the one attraction that I really liked when I first went, and I really liked the Men in Black shows or movies. And that ride is worth it. You need to go on it. The wait time is like 5 to 10 minutes at most, and it's really fun. So went in, did that, left, got lunch, went to see The Mummy, which The Mummy went from like a 40-minute wait to a 60-minute wait when I was in line. And The Mummy was okay. Granted, I have never seen the movie of The Mummy, which thankfully they had like little clips of the movie playing in the queue and kind of like the background, like behind the scenes footage too. So that kind of gave me an idea, but it wasn't as good as I thought it was because I heard so much good praise from it. So I did that, came back, and then I went onto the Hogwarts Express, which was an hour wait to get over there, because it wasn't supposed to be that long. I think it was at most like 45 minutes or so, but it was an hour by the time I had got there. So that was like an hour and a half to do the Hogwarts Express ride over to Islands of Adventure. Got into Islands of Adventure. I did the cute little Hagrid ride, or the Buckbeak ride. Did that. What else did I do? Oh, did the Buckbeak ride, went into the castle. The castle, I think, that ride is my favorite. That was the best. I mean, I'm not sure if it was because it had a personal AC unit for yourself and you were just kind of chilling the entire time. Granted, I mean, they were moving. It was jolting at times, but I really enjoyed that ride. I actually did it again twice, and it actually stalled on my second time. It was kind of funny. So it stalled right when like we were being attacked by the Dementors. So it stalled when I was basically on my back. The Dementor is like looking at me straight in the face, you know, like the animatronic. And yeah, for like 5 minutes we were just sitting there like there's a Dementor right there. They turned on the lights, and it was actually really nice because it was allowed me just to cool down and, you know, calm down, because you're out in the sun all day, and lay on my back, have a personal AC unit, just kind of chill, take a little power nap. And it kind of felt like a massage because the chair was vibrating. So I was perfectly happy with that. So I rode the castle twice, basically left the castle and then I went back up there. I bought pumpkin juice there. I saw the tail end of the Triwizard Tournament. And then, so by the time I finished the castle for the second time, it was close to like 5 o'clock. And I had been looking on the app, which if you go download the Universal app, because that is very necessary. It was so nice because you could put your card on there and pay through the Universal app, and you can look for wait times and show times, and it's very useful. So I had kept an eye on the app for the wait times for Hagrid's motorcycle ride, and they were high all day. Like 45 minutes I think was the lowest, to, you know, 60 plus. So I was like, I'm just gonna wait till the end of the day, because I had been watching on the app for the past couple of weeks. You know, usually at the end of the day the lines go down to about, you know, 30 minutes or so. So I was like, I'm gonna wait till the end to do that. That was a mistake. So anyways, so the line for Hagrid's was super high, and I decided to hop back over to Diagon Alley because I really enjoyed that area. Plus it was cool because it was shaded. But I think I prefer Diagon Alley to Hogsmeade. Anyway, so I hopped back over, got there like 10-20 minutes before 6 o'clock, which is when the park shut down. My original plan was to go to Men in Black right away and like get in line before the park shut down, but the ride was down for maintenance. So instead I got like a fishy something. It was boba tea basically, and sat outside, like right outside of Nocturnal Alley, and watched people practice magic in like the water feature and the lights. And while they were doing that, a whole bunch of caterers were coming out to set up for a big event that they were basically closing down the entire park for an event. So it was kind of cool because they were dressed up as, you know, Harry Potter not characters, but like people in that world for Diagon Alley. But yeah, that was really cool because I worked in catering in college and I really enjoyed it, and I really enjoy the catering business. So it was fun seeing that. So I finished the boba tea and took my time kind of walking back through the park and seeing all the little details within the shops or outside on the windows of Diagon Alley. And I also did so outside of Diagon Alley, there is a phone booth that you can call the Ministry of Magic. And that was really fun. The park closed, they were herding us out because of the event, and I went back into Islands of Adventure. And by then, the heat of the day and my lack of drinking enough water was starting to hit me. And this was like 6:50 basically in the day, because I didn't drink that much. I thought I was okay, but after like that boba tea, excuse me, I was really starting to feel the effects of dehydration, and I was drinking water afterwards. Like at all the fountains, I was drinking whatever I could, but it was too late and to go back to the hotel. But I still hadn't rode Hagrid's motorcycle ride, which at that point it was like 120 minutes or like 100 minutes. So I decided just to take my time going back towards the Hogwarts Castle, like back towards Hogsmeade, and talk to my mom because she had called to see how it was going. And I stopped outside on the bridge where you can get the best photos of Hogwarts. Talked to her for a while and just kind of like recouped in a sense. Alright, so after that, I decided just to head into Hogwarts motorcycle ride because if I'm going to be waiting 120 minutes, I might as well start now instead of closer to the end of the park time. So I got in line, I think around like 7:20. Got in line for Hagrid's motorcycle ride, and that line was brutal for me. I mean, it was nice. The queue was good, but the fact that I was feeling faint and I was dehydrated and I wasn't feeling good, like I felt like I couldn't breathe, and at points I had to like remove my mask a bit from my mouth, when I could, and just breathe in the air and just kind of sit with my head between my legs. So it was a brutal hour to an hour and a half because I didn't get out until 8:50. So yeah, over an hour and a half I was basically in Hagrid's motorcycle queue and ride. And at the end of the queue, you're basically kind of like going through tunnels within like a Hogwarts or some building, and it's just like tunnel like 10 to 20 feet tunnel one way encased in stone, and it would turn and be another 10 or 20 feet and it'd be zigzagging back and forth, and it was bad because I was starting to feel like, whoa, this could be really claustrophobic for me if I had really bad claustrophobia, and the fact that I was sick, it would just not have been added well. But yeah, so anyways, I pushed through it because I knew this was a ride that you had to go on if you go to Harry Potter World. And I'm glad I did push through. It was brutal, but I am glad I did because that ride was really good. By the time we got out of the queue, it was dark outside, which made the ride so much better because the motorcycles had lights on it, so you would go through the dark and the motorcycle light. Sorry, my phone alarm went off, which cut off the camera. So as I was saying, it was really cool being able to go out onto the ride when it was dark and have your motorcycle be the only light really for you and see Hogwarts 2 or Hogsmeade in the dark with the lights and the rest of Universal. But it was really fun and the ride was really good. Just wish I was able to ride it earlier when I wasn't feeling so sick. Yeah, so that's basically kind of my day. And then went back home, went to the hotel, and went to sleep. I was done. I was so not sick, but when I got back into the hotel, I basically went into the shower and just laid on the shower floor after when drinking water too, for almost an hour just to regain my sense of normalcy and just recouping from that day. Overall, it was good. I would recommend. Okay, so now let's get into the portion of what I would recommend you do if you're going and what I would do differently. So what I did before I went into Universal, so the day before when I arrived, I actually went into City Walk, which is the section, the section outside of Universal Studios, Islands of Adventure, Volcano Bay, kind of like Disney Springs, but it's actually attached to the parks where there's different restaurants. There's the big Universal Globe Ball. So I went in there to get a sense of where I would need to walk the next day, to get into the park, where to park, how to go through security. And I got my dinner there too, but that's outside the point. Basically, I would recommend you do that, and I would recommend you go into the big Universal Studios store to see what products they have to sell, because most of everything can be found within a City Walk or the Universal store that you can purchase within the park. So to spend less time going through stores or the different shops in Diagon Alley and Hogsmeade, you can just do that in City Walk the day before when you arrive, and get all the souvenirs you want then as well. You can actually buy wands too out there too. I would recommend not staying at the hotel I stayed at. I stayed at a Quality Inn that was like 7 minutes away, and it was bad. It was so humid. The appliances, the TVs, everything was really dated. Another thing I would recommend is getting an express pass. Basically, I didn't get it because it was twice the amount of the ticket. But if you're able to purchase the ticket in advance, like plan out your trip, because I basically planned it within 2 weeks because I was like, oh, hey, I'm already here. Let's go. But if you can, see if you can find express passes that are like $80, that go during the off seasons when it's cheaper, and use that, because apparently on some of the rides, the express pass will actually take you through different routes. Like you'll go through different parts of Hogwarts Castle on the express route versus the normal line. And I'm imagining the same thing for Gringotts and Hagrid's too. So just to be able to experience the different queues and seeing the different exhibits they have during those queues, that would be worth it for me too. Worth it. And also just to kind of skip that hour and 20 minutes of wait time at the end of the day. So I would recommend the Express Pass, but if you don't get the Express Pass, you can still do most of everything. You can still basically do everything within Hogwarts, or the Harry Potter world. And if you do miss a few things, like you miss some of the shows, watch them on YouTube. Potterhead has all the shows listed on there, and to me that's good enough. So, another thing I would work on or would do better next time is my poses for the camera for like photos of me. I don't know how to pose. I was trying to, pose in front of Hogwarts Castle, and I was trying to be all cool and lean against the railing, and it was just, I need to work on that. So that's my personal thing that I need to do next time. But yeah, so next time I would love to wear a robe next time and walk around with it, but with the group of people. That would have been a lot of fun. But and drink more water. You definitely need to drink every 2 hours. Even though you think you're okay, do it. Another thing too I would suggest is just bringing a small purse or a small bag with you. That way you can put a few granola bars in it. You can put a small water bottle that you can have, the different restaurants help refill for you, or refill it at the water fountain. Some people do suggest bringing a fanny pack, because if you wear a fanny pack to the parks, you don't necessarily have to take it off for the rides, versus for bags, you have to put them in a locker, which it wasn't that inconvenient to put them in the lockers, and it was free. I don't think I paid for any of the lockers because we were able to get out on time. Though, at the end of Hagrid's motorcycle ride, my locker wouldn't open for me, and I had to get someone to help me open it. They had to manually go in and get it out. I think it's just because the ride was so long, but I didn't pay for the ride, or for the locker, so. Alright, so I'm just gonna go over if I missed anything. Oh! I didn't tell you what wand I got. So, it took me a while to figure out which one I wanted, because I didn't want to pick a wand based on the character. I wanted to look at the wand and see which one appealed to me the most, on its style and how it felt in my hand and everything. So I looked at all, the ones for the main characters, the ones for the bad guys, and the ones that are based on your horoscope or your birth date. And the wand that I chose is Hermione's, which actually apparently it's the number one wand that's sold, I think, or one of the top 3 wands that are sold at Universal. So I got Hermione's wand. It's really pretty. If you can probably guess, I got it because it has vines climbing over it, and I'm really into gardening right now, and it's really pretty, and it's ornate, and it's detailed, which I like that. I like carved wood and intricate details and stuff, so that fit me more. And I really actually enjoy Hermione a lot. I resonate with that character more than with Harry or with Ron or with Luna or any of the other characters. So yeah, I'm happy I got her wand. So it felt kind of funny being a Slytherin, carrying Hermione's wand, going through Hogsmeade and Diagon Alley. So, anyways. So that was my experience at Universal Studios, mainly the Harry Potter world, for one day. I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. Would I recommend you going for 2 days? Not really. Not if you're someone who's okay, not spending a ton of time at the shops or a ton of time making sure you're getting all the spells. And if you want to ride the rides multiple times, I would suggest you either go for 2 days or you get an express pass to help cut down on that time. But just to see the Harry Potter world and basically experience everything, 1 day was good enough. If you want to do the rest of the attractions within the parks, you would need about 2, I would actually suggest maybe 3 or 4 days to experience everything. But otherwise, 1 day was okay. 1 day was pretty good. Yeah, and then actually my ride back home was super easy. Like, it was 6 hours and I didn't listen to anything. I just sat and I think what I needed after all that noise and excitement and, activity I did the day before, I just needed calm. So I didn't listen to anything. I didn't listen to music. I didn't listen to podcasts or anything like that. I just concentrated on the road and just kind of zoned all the way back up to Charlotte. And I did think of some story building for a story I'm writing, some plot points and stuff. But that was it. I mean, I just needed that because when I went to bed that evening, I could still hear the music of the parks and people and Harry, basically the noise of the parks. So I definitely needed that time to calm and not regenerate, but recharge. So yeah, anyways, I hope you guys found this useful, entertaining, or anything. If you want to know the exact time points as to what I did and where I went, and that'll be in the description along with the YouTubers that I mentioned too. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time for our regular stuff, which I don't know what it is, but hopefully it'll be fun and anyways, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.